Hello my dear subscribers and viewers, it's Molly again. Welcome to the first lesson of the Russian language. Yes, as you may notice, I have turned one of the pictures on the walls into an improvised whiteboard. Hopefully my husband won't kill me for that when he discovers it when he returns home, but I really need a whiteboard, and I have watched several videos concerning how to make a whiteboard from materials that you have at hand at home, and here is what I've got today, and hopefully it will be convenient both for you and me. So let's start our Russian course, long required by many of my subscribers, so I have managed to find time for that. All the lectures at the university are over already, and even scientific meetings and conferences, international conferences, 2 of them that we had of the last time, are already over. So I have some time to devote to my channel and to devote my time to you, my dear subscribers, and to your wish to learn a little bit of Russian. My videos will be useful to you because these videos will be made by a native speaker who has learned several foreign languages. Mind that a native speaker is not always the best teacher of language, of any language, because he has learned that language as something intrinsic to his psychics, to his mind, and he doesn't know how to learn that language from the outside. But a person who has learned several foreign languages apart from his mother tongue may be a very good teacher of his mother tongue because he has a basis of comparison. I don't simply know Russian, I also have a basis to compare it with other languages and with other language systems. So I have stopped to perceive that my mother tongue is something intrinsic to my mind and psychics. I have started to analyze and to compare and to think about logical and illogical parts of the language. So this is a Russian language lesson, so let's get started with Russian. In order not to scare you from the first time from learning Russian, I will give you some information by small portions for you to make it easier for you to learn Russian and not to scare you from the very beginning, okay? So today we will learn first 3 letters of the Russian alphabet, and we will learn a very useful phrase you will need when you come to Russia, how to introduce yourself. The phrase, my name is, and so on, the phrase that you will need as a tourist or as an immigrant. And I promise you that at the end of all my lessons, we'll have a very funny piece of language to get to know, for you to have not only work and work and work and studies, but also something funny to devote your time to. Okay, let's start with the alphabet. The first 3 letters I'm going to teach you are A, B, and V. So the first letter of the Russian alphabet is A. Let's write it down. Here it is, A. In its graphical form and in its sound, sometimes it reminds the English letter A, so it looks the same, but it gives different sound. It always gives you a sound A. In any place where you can see this letter, in any word, it will be a sound A. Only A. No other sound. No A, no A, it's A. Russian A. The next letter we are going to learn today is B. Let's write it down. B. Capital and small letter B. And it may be compared to an English letter B. Let's compare it and write in brackets B. But it's written differently. It's English B. Bear, B. It always gives us the sound B. B. So here is the sound R, and here is the sound B. Let's put it in brackets, the sounds the letters give. R, B, R, B. And let's try to write a word combined of these two letters. Let it be Baba. Baba. It's a word usually said by little children when they address their grandmothers. So it's like granny, Baba. Very small children when they just start to talk. It's not because of the usage of the use of that word, may it be omnipresent or not. It's just to practice these two sounds that we have already learned. Baba, Baba, granny, Baba. This word can also mean a rude address to a woman, so it's rude equivalent of a word woman. Also Baba, but I prefer it as a word for granny. Baba. The third letter I was going to teach you today is V, Russian letter V. Let's write it down. Look at it. Capital and small letter V. You may easily notice that it looks the same as English letter B, almost the same, at least a capital letter, these two capital letters. But it gives completely different sound. If to compare it with the English language, it would be the sound of a letter V, V. So let's write down the sound here in brackets. So the third letter of the Russian alphabet, V, where the sound V. And it doesn't always give you the sound V. Mostly, yes. But at the end of the words, it turns into F, F. Voiceless sound, F, F. So it may be the sound V or the sound F. In Russian it's written like this, in English it's written like this, sound F. But remember that this letter is pronounced as F only at the end of words. So, A, B, V. Letters, sounds. A, B, V. And let's write down a word combined of the sounds and letters we have already learned. The first word was Baba, granny. The second word will be Vava. So, what is it? Vava. It's something that a child has when he falls down. So, in English it's boo-boo, boo-boo. Vava, Vava. As I said, always sounds like a, va, va. The second word that we have learned today. Yes, I talk about children too much maybe today, but we have to practice sounds and letters. And these two words are combined of the sounds that we need and with the letters that we need. Okay, we have already learned 3 first letters of the Russian alphabet, A, B and V. And as I promised, the next part of our lesson will be about a very useful phrase that you will need when you come to Russia. You will have to introduce yourself and you will have to say, my name is. Yes? Okay. I will not simply explain the equivalent of this phrase in Russian, give you the equivalent, but also explain how it works. I will try to look into Russian structures and try to decipher these structures on this whiteboard for you, not simply to memorize the sound of this phrase without understanding, but for you to try to understand how it works from the inside. Okay? So, the phrase in English is, my name is. The same phrase in Russian will sound as Меня зовут. So let's put it, my name is John. Меня зовут John. Repeat after me, please. Меня зовут John. Let's look inside of that structure. If to translate it closer to the structure used in English, it would be Мое имя Джон. Мое имя John. But we don't use this phrase too often. This phrase is most commonly used, the first one. Меня зовут John. Меня зовут John. The second phrase is not a mistake in Russian because you know Russian is a very flexible language, contrasted to English and many other languages, but there are structures that are commonly used, there are structures that are used very seldom in order to attract attention to what you say. So the first variant is most commonly used. Меня зовут John. It has a passive construction, зовут. Passive construction like an action imposed upon the subject. Меня зовут. In order to understand the meaning of зовут, it will be useful to compare it with the English word called. So it is the same, зовут, called. So in Russian, if to translate the Russian variant into English, the closest variant would be I am called John. I am called John. But you see, here is not I, because I in Russian is я. And here we see a word меня. Why? Меня is me in English. So if to translate it literally, not correctly, but literally, the Russian structure would be something like me called John. So the closest translation, word by word, from Russian into English, me called John. I have thought a lot about how it works and why it is so, but I couldn't find any logic in the structures me called John. But Russian language works so, and if you try to find logic in the Russian language, you will probably fail, because many things in Russian are just to be memorized and not to be found, not to be analyzed for logic or any other thing. You will fail if you try to find logic in every Russian structure. But again, it is possible to learn Russian at a level that you will be able to communicate and to function normally in a Russian society, and you will be understood. So let's memorize this equivalent. Меня зовут Джон. Меня. I will write letters separately here for you to see it better. Меня зовут Меня зовут John. And here you can see some of the letters that we have learned today. A letter V, зовут. Letter V and sound V. And as I promised, at the end of our lesson we are going to learn something funny. And I have told you about logic in the Russian language. And I said it's useless to try to find logic in any Russian structure. So, in English they say you will find logic if something is useless. They say, or will never happen, once in a blue moon. So something will happen once in a blue moon. But in Russian this phrase is funny. We say when crayfish whistles on the mountain. So something will happen when crayfish whistles on the mountain. Well, I think it's funnier than once in a blue moon, because colors depend on the imagination, and sometimes people even may even think that the moon is blue, but it's hard to imagine a crayfish whistling somewhere. So you will find logic in the Russian grammar when a crayfish whistles on the mountain. Hopefully you like this lesson, my first lesson of the Russian language. If you have any questions or comments to my lesson, or if you wish me to do something differently, please write that in your comments under the video and tell me what you want to be changed or what exactly you want to be taught, because it's just for you to be useful, for these lessons to be useful to you. Okay, see you next time. Yours, Wise Life.